Good afternoon. My name is Muhammad Ali, and today I'll be talking to you about developmental differences between genders. How many of you believe that males and females' personalities are more than 70% alike? In reality, males and females' personalities are 82% alike. So, introduction. So there are main developmental differences between the genders, and there are three that I'm going to talk about. First, being brain development, how males and females process information differently. Second is education, how males and females do in school throughout the adolescent years. And three is personality and self-esteem, how males and females interact into different situations. So for my hypothesis, I said there are marked developmental differences between the genders, such as personality, self-esteem, education, and brain development throughout the lifespan. So why is this controversial? I said many people have petitioned for the school system to change. It's because many students start slower or their brain develops slower, which gives them an unfair disadvantage. Second, I said it's a disadvantage for females in the job world, because even though females have a higher university graduate, they have lower employment rates and get paid less. And lastly, I said not talked about enough. This topic is not concerned about and not aware by a lot of people. A lot of people see it as one man versus one woman, but the thing is that it should be more detailed than that. So for brain development, males are less anxious and more efficient than females. Researchers have found out that there's differences between them in brain as fetuses with 26 weeks as for pregnancy. And males are stronger in math and geometry. Researchers have found out that in terms of math, males and females, males 8-year-old brain is the same as a female 12-year-old brain. So for brain development, females have a higher advantage in language and fine motor skills. This is why they usually do better in English class. And males and females use different parts of their brain for problem solving. Males use the left hippocampus, while females use the cerebral cortex. And I have a short video to play.
Girls' brains throughout development seem to be reaching maturity 1 to 2+ years ahead of the boys' brains. And we know this, I just mentioned this process of myelination, of connectivity. Well, the girls appear to myelinate, to cause the closure of this adult process 2 or 3 years earlier than boys. And when you look at brain growth, what happens across development is your brain grows, and then it actually starts to prune itself a little bit as you become adult-like. So the number of brain cells in your brain is actually comes down a little bit to become adult-like. You want that. You don't want. It's a part of a pruning that's important. So when we look at when that happens, it happens a little bit earlier in girls than it does in boys. So actually, boys are completing the process into their late teens and early 20s. Whereas girls are completing this process of connectivity and sort of the pruning part of the brain more towards the end of the teenage years, middle to end of the teenage years. Now, given that lag, it makes some people have suggested that we might consider some gender-based learning. Now, it is possible that the girls are ready to learn certain things, possibly earlier than boys, because of this ability that they mature sooner. And so one asks whether some subjects could be taught to girls earlier than boys, and we might need to consider this in terms of high school curriculum. However, it's ideally, this is not just gender-based. Every individual is going on their own little curve. And it would be, obviously, everybody's different. Even two boys are different from each other with respect to actually when they're reaching the end of their brain growth. And ideally, of course, in an ideal world, teaching to an individual's brain development would be the best possible, strategy.
So for brain development, it has been found out that females reach brain full maturity much earlier than males. And females reach it at the age of about 21 to 22, while it takes males much longer to reach full maturity to about the age of 30. So for education, in 1971 there was 68% of the university graduates were male, but now in 2006 only 40% of university graduates are male. But females form the majority of university students, but they still earn have a lower employment rate and earn less money. Researchers have still not found out the reason for this cause. So males remain the majority in fields such as science and math, and females remain the majority in fields such as teaching and art. This is due to the fact that the male brain are more left brain dominant, which are analysis and logic, while females are more right brain dominant for imagination and creativity. In many foreign nations, tradition demands that males bring the income to the household while females do the chores and take care of the kids. But there are many parts of the world, such as Canada, that have evolved past this tradition, and now males and females are both expected to bring in an income and help out the family. By age 15, when many youths start to think about their future, females outperform males by a large margin. This is due to the fact that female brains are almost developed at this stage, while male brains are just developing. So personality and self-esteem, males and females have a decently large difference in personality, but not much of a difference in self-esteem. In research that was done, females scored much higher in warmth and sensitivity compared to males. The study suggests that when it comes to personality, males and females belong to two different species, and there is no significant difference between them in terms of self-esteem. Males scored higher in areas such as vigilance and dominance and emotional stability, but and we found out that the 82% of the both genders are alike. So that other 18% makes a difference between having a unique personality, such as being positive and while the other person being grumpy. And the only marginal difference between them, only marginal difference that was found for self-esteem was that females are more susceptible to depression and eating disorders. As you can see here in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's proven that the higher you are on this hierarchy of needs, the higher your self-esteem will be. As you can see in the personality self-esteem chart, 1 being where they overlap the least and 8 being where they overlap the most. As you can see, for 1 there's sensitivity and dominance, and for where they overlap the most is abstractionness and perfectionism. So some key findings: there's a large difference between the genders in the report cards. About only 31.9% of males have a report card of 80+%, while about 46.3% of females have a report card of 80% or above. Females develop a self-worth based on feedback from others. This is what the psychologists dub as self-value. Males experience the same thing but to a lesser degree. Males also lag behind females on the developmental side of things. Only 12% of males are characterized as having advanced motor and social skills, while female, there's 21% for them. This is still due to the fact of the brain development. So for my informed opinion, I believe that schooling should change, that it should be for each gender based. So males should learn stuff at a later age than females, and vice versa. But for such as like math, females should learn math at an older age, and males should learn English at an older age. And I said females must have their own job channel. This is where females have an own job channel where they can compete against other females for jobs instead of other males and have to face discrimination. I also said must raise awareness on this topic, must raise the awareness for the topic to the general and the media, so people don't compare them as one man to one female. It's more than that. It's about their personality and development. So for my overview and conclusion, my hypothesis was mostly correct except for the part about self-esteem. Males and females don't have much of a difference in self-esteem, but I found that males and females have many differences in terms such as brain development, education, and personality. Thank you for listening to my presentation.